participants will receive a confirmation automatically after they register, or you can select upon approval, and that means you get to see the list of registrants and you decide who gets in and who doesn't. Once you've completed your registration process, you're going to save your work and email yourself a copy of the invitation. From your own email is one way that you can forward the invitation out to participants and have them register. After creating my webinar, it will automatically take me to the My Webinar section of the site. Here's where I can view all my upcoming webinars, edit and make any necessary changes, monitor my registrants, as well as both practice and start my webinars. At any time, you can edit or make changes to your webinar. So if you notice any typos or you've made any mistakes, no problem. Simply click Edit and you can adjust any of the fields. In fact, you can come to Change Session Settings and you can make even more detailed changes, like make any adjustments to audio, add or delete any panelists, change your branding and theme, as well as email notifications, polls, and survey. Let's take a look at email notifications. GoToWebinar will automatically send email notifications on your behalf, and you can add some personal touch to these emails. For example, in the confirmation email, clicking on the gold button will allow you to adjust some of the text. The default is your email address, but you can always delete this and maybe redirect your registrants to a website, or put any specific instructions or additional instructions here as well. GoToWebinar will also send reminder emails on your behalf. The default is 1 hour, 1 day, and you can also personalize that reminder email. Again, scroll down, delete the default, and you can add your own personal text if you'd like. We'll also send follow-up emails to those who showed up and follow-up emails to no-shows. Again, each of these can be personalized by clicking the gold button and adding your own version of text. If you don't want follow-up emails and reminder emails to go out, no problem, just select the box and nothing will go out to your audience. Be sure to save your changes so that it's permanent. But remember, you can always come in and make additional changes if you change your mind. Let's talk about polls and surveys. Polling is a great way for you to engage your audience while you're in session, but you're going to create the poll in advance. So think about the type of polling questions you might want to ask your audience. It's very similar to the way you created registration questions. Simply type in the question, provide some answer fields, and click Create. They can be single or multiple choice, and be sure to save your changes. You can decide to have a survey sent out at the end of your event. Simply click Survey, and again, type in your question, type in some answer fields, and click Create. If you need some suggestions on the type of survey questions, simply click Show Me Some Question Types. And we've provided a list of examples of the type of questions that you can create in your own survey. Once you've created your single, multiple, scale, short answer, etc., be sure to click Save, and you can also decide if you'd like to show the survey immediately after everybody exits, or you can choose to have this go out in the follow-up emails that we looked at earlier. You can also monitor your registration in real time directly through the website. I've got 2 webinars here in my queue. One is set for automatic, which means anyone who registered will automatically receive the confirmation and the link to join my event. So at any time, I can come in, check out my registrants, click on the number 5, for example, and see who's registered. My other webinar is set for upon approval, so I get to approve or deny my participants. So I come to waiting approval, I can click the number 1, and I can see that Johnny Appleseed has registered at 9/29/09. I can select his name, and then I can choose to approve or deny and change the status. Once you approve someone, they'll automatically receive that confirmation with the link to join. By clicking this View tab of any webinar, you can view some finer details of your event, such as the webinar ID. You can also view the conference calling information for the organizers, the panelists, and the attendees. You can also see if you've invited any panelists, etc. One best practice that I usually do is I copy and paste this information and send it to myself. That way I have all the conference call information on hand anytime that I need it. There are just a few more specifics that I want to cover before we move on to some best practices. One is the practice feature. GoToWebinar comes with a built-in practice feature that you can use at any time and as often as you like. By clicking Practice, it will start your webinar as if it were real. So that gives you the ability to view your controls, practice recording. You can even invite your organizers and panelists to join you, and it will block attendees from joining. It's easy to have your panelists and organizers join practice session because they're going to use the same link that you sent them for the live event. So one link will allow them to join any practice sessions as well as the live event. Then when you're ready to actually hold your event, go to the website and click Start. Let's take a moment and talk about inviting your participants. Once you've scheduled your webinar and saved your work, you should have automatically received a copy of the webinar invitation. From your own email, you can choose to forward or send that email out to all your participants. At any time, you can always email me the invitation and get a copy if you need it. Another way to invite your participants is to locate your webinar and click the gold button. And here lives the registration link. You can choose to copy and do a number of creative things with a link. For example, more and more companies are interested in placing this link on social networking sites such as Twitter or Facebook. You can certainly copy and paste this into your own special invitation if you've created one, or feel free to send it in a calendar invite so people can click and join. In the next section of this video, I'll share some invitation examples with you. Let's view some webinar invitation examples that you might find useful. Here's what it looks like when the webinar invitation gets sent to your own email inbox. I simply need to remove the text instructions that come with the email, click Forward, and send off this invite to all my participants. Another example is to create your own invitation. Then copy and paste the webinar registration link we viewed earlier and place it in that invitation you created. A third example is to simply copy and paste the registration link and put it in a simple calendar invitation and send it off to your audience. Before we close out this video, I want to leave you with some best practices for inviting your panelists and organizers. First is to confirm the dates with your staff before you invite them. Make sure that they're available and ready to participate for the times and dates of both your practice sessions as well as the live event. You want to invite your staff at the right time. You don't want to invite them too early for fear that they might lose their invitations or they won't be able to find the invitation and pull it back up. You also want to follow up after you've sent the invitation personally. So make sure you call them up to explain that they should have received their invitation, and you want to cover what is inside that invitation. For example, here is what it looks like when you invite a panelist. They should have received this email that will include the link for them to click and join the practice as well as the live event. It'll have all of the audio information as well as a link that they can add the event to their calendar. So this is the type of information you want to cover when you personally follow up to make sure that they understand what they've received and they understand how to join. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this GoToWebinar Part 1 video, please visit us at www.support.gotomeeting.com. In this on-demand support site, you'll find our numbers to technical support, searchable help files, documentation that you can print. You'll also find a link for our live training as well as other video training. For example, if you'd like to attend GoToWebinar Part 2, live training, or watch the training video, visit us at www.support.gotomeeting.com. Thank you, and enjoy using GoToWebinar.